Welcome back to the House of Faith and Fashion right here on Connect Network TV. I'm your host, Toby Rubenstein, author of the best-selling series, The House of Faith and Fashion. Every week, I bring the pages of my book to life. So get comfortable because you're going to be visiting with me because today I have two wonderful guests who are well-known and dear friends in the fashion industry. Influencer and Forbes Next 1000. She's not even up and coming anymore. She's actually here as American entrepreneur, Elizabeth Sutton. Plus, I'm bringing stylist and regional manager of Fashion Group International, Sandra Madjdi. Both women are no strangers to the game, no strangers. And I'm so excited to hear about how their faith is going to be part of their success. And I know them so well, and they're experts in their arena, and you're going to be so excited to be visiting with both of them. Right now. I mean, if you didn't get the hint, it's time for my fashion hallelujah moment or hallelujah fashion moment, no matter what you want to call it. But, I coined the phrase. Barbie core is done, and the cowboy core is back. Beyonce, I love Beyonce. I really, really do. And she should win all the awards for what she does. But she has influenced something to do with this cowboy core, starting way back when she actually wore a cowboy hat to the Grammys, even though she didn't win. And yes, she deserved to win, and everybody deserves to win. But she now has the number one hit. Texas Hold'em is her song. And she's the first Black woman to top the country charts. And it's no wonder that the search for cowboy hats have increased and cowboy aesthetics are taking over the internet as cowboy core is now the thing to be. And of course, fringe, I can't forget the fringe, also embodies the cowboy core. And it's not just because of Beyonce, but it's also been all over the runways in Milan, Paris, and in London, and Gucci. And of course, we can't forget Louis Vuitton's wonderful show. Cowboy core is back. Cowboy core, but I'm nostalgic and I got to give credit where credit's due because I started my love for cowboy core all the way back with Ralph Lauren in the late 1980s. And to me, Ralph Lauren is always the original cowboy when it comes to fashion. So kudos to Ralph Lauren. But talking about originality makes me think of the artist and influencer Elizabeth Sutton. We're going to hear so much about how talented this woman is. But aside from the fact that she's so close to me, she's like another daughter. She is actually completely brilliant. And I can't wait for you to come back and we'll be visiting with her after this short break.
Welcome to Gleam Beauty, where nature meets science with our Dermabiome collection. Revitalize your skin's microbiome and nourish your skin barrier, targeting skin issues at its core. Hydrate, nourish, and firm your skin for a truly radiant glow. Say goodbye to skin irritation and inflammation and hello to the youthful-looking skin that you've been dreaming of. Gleam Beauty, changing lives, one face at a time.
Hi guys, I'm DDJ. I'm a pop singer and a fashion designer. You can follow my page on Instagram, DDJ Official, DIDIJ Official. Also, I'm there on TikTok doing my Get Ready With Me videos all the time. So if you want to follow that page too, you are watching the Connect Network TV.
Welcome back to the House of Faith and Fashion right here on the CW. Get ready for a meaningful conversation with my first guest today, entrepreneur, artist, designer, lifestyle brand owner. She's everything. Elizabeth Sutton of Elizabeth Sutton Studio. Welcome to the House of Faith and Fashion.
Hi, Fairy Godmother. Thank you for having me.
We're going to go public now that this is my goddaughter, and she's the cover of the House of Faith and Fashion. This is her. And if I could just say that she is, aside from being extraordinarily talented, she is beyond wonderful. I can't say enough because as a fairy godmother, I can't stop. First off, congrats on making the Forbes list of 1,000, top 1,000, but you're so much more because you've had so many articles written about you. You've had so much press. It's amazing. But in your words, Elizabeth, how do you think all this press affected you and your brand?
Actually, so I'm very blessed. Actually, almost all my press has been organic. I've had very little PR retained because PR is very expensive. And thank God, actually, opportunities come to me. That Forbes list was like a complete shocker. I woke up at 8 a.m. in bed and saw an email saying like, congratulations, you've been nominated to the Forbes Next 1,000 list. It's one of the top 1,000 entrepreneurs in the United States. Small business was the backbone of the U.S. economy during COVID, and we nominated you as one of the first 250 inaugural series. And I was like, what? I was literally crying with happiness. It's crazy.
At all. You know, I'm not shocked with any press you get. I just go, oh, tell me something I don't already know.
So I always say that my art started as a happy accident. I am not a trained artist. I never took an art class. I never took a design class. I started painting about 9 years ago. As I was going through a lot of loss, we had actually just lost all our money and I couldn't afford the art that I envisioned on the wall anymore. I was doing a fancy renovation on my son's nursery and I painted on a Sunday. So the talent was really God-given. Through that time, in the course of 2 years, they went through a lot of loss, a lot of trauma in a very short amount of time. And I don't know that I realized it at the time, but in hindsight, my art and my meditative process and technique was very much part of my therapeutic process to get out of my brain from all the trauma I was going through. And the colors, you know, I'm known for all my bright colors. I think subconsciously that just added happiness to my brain. There's so much healing power to creativity in general, music, fashion.
I want to congratulate you on your first mural in Israel.
First of all, thank you. It's a big honor for me. It's the first time I was bringing my art to Israel, and it came to Israel in a big way. My mural is at 1 Hatnufa Street in Tel Aviv. So if you're there.
Can you give my audience insights in how to successfully start your own business? Because you're like the queen of it.
First of all, put a lot of pressure on yourself. Step one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I started my business with nothing but problems. And one of the things that forced me to succeed is I created a necessity. I was desperate. I had no other option or I was going to be in a lot of trouble. So that was the first thing for me. Mm-hmm. Don't give up, right? Being your own boss, you're going to encounter so many setbacks. You're the last person to get paid and no one else cares as much as you. When you want to get something done, no one's going to do it as quickly as you want to get it done because they're worried about their own. So if you want something from someone, sorry, can I say that? If you want something,
but okay, bleep, go ahead.
They're worried about their own stuff. So if you want someone to do something, you need to follow up. You need to be tenacious, resilient, aggressive, not afraid of the word no. I really suggest that you get organized from the very beginning. That's something I wish someone had told me when I started. I started my business completely backwards with no previous experience. And I didn't know anything about technologies and systems and SOPs and CRMs and to make sure that all your accounting is in order and your LLCs are filed, et cetera, et cetera. I really, even though it's annoying and sounds silly, but if you're thinking of starting your own business, be organized from the very beginning. It will get you much further.
Okay, so as a mom and an entrepreneur and having this lucrative business, how, I can't answer this question myself, but how do you define balance?
I don't think there is such thing as balance for a working mom, and for sure not for a single working mom. I think it was Sheryl Sandberg who said it. You can, if there are three things that are very important to you, you get to choose two, right? You can't get all three.
It's true. And two if you're lucky, actually. Two if you're lucky.
Yeah, definitely not all three at the same time. You can have all three, but not at the same time. So right now I'm focused on my kids and my career. My personal life definitely takes a setback because of that. And when I experience love or whatever, if it's worthwhile, I put a little less into my career and probably even into my kids to create space for it. But you definitely can't have it all at the same time.
No, but you do it all. So can you explain how many different products you have? Because here I am holding one of my many clutches that every place that I have, I take an Elizabeth Sutton clutch. I have my napkin rings. You can't see my belt. I don't have the wallpaper behind me. So can you explain to all the things that you have to offer in your brand?
So I started as a fine artist, and inadvertently I expanded into product and licensing. I have 5 award-winning best-selling tile collections for Tile Bar that get installed in some of the most premier hospitality venues in the world. Mario Carbone's restaurant, Contessa in Miami, the whole floor. So many hotels, the Fairmont Hotel that's being built in California, the El Conquistador, Capital One, Whole Foods, big brands really buy my tile. And I'm about to launch a 6th collection at HD Expo in a month and a half, which is going to win design awards. I promise you, it's a terrazzo marble collection that's going to win awards, just like my.
Can I wave my fairy godmother wand? I will raise my fairy godmother wand that it will happen, because usually when I do that, it happens. But how do you find all these partnerships and collaborations? I mean, you have so many. How do you go about doing this?
Really straight up hustle. It's pretty crazy. And even like experts who I now speak to are like, I don't understand how you got these licensing deals. In the very beginning of my career, even before I had a brand, I just hustled these deals, and my designs were strong. So they got picked up by stores, won awards. My first royalty-free licensing deal was for a brand named Barry Lynn Accessories, owned by
yes.
She's a mentor of mine, just like you. And my designs for her got picked up by Saks, Neiman's, Nordstrom's, Bergdorf's. Bergdorf's chose them to be in their Christmas ad campaign on New York City bus stops, in the New York Times Sunday Style section. Talk about like Carrie Bradshaw moment. And that was like very early on in my career. And then I designed the tiles. I hustled myself a deal. The head of marketing at Tile Bar told me they weren't accepting collaborations for 3 more years. I said, just watch. I literally hustled myself a deal, signed the deal. That night I was like, time to teach myself how to do graphic design. I designed 3 tile collections that night. Came to market 3 months later at the Art Digest Design Show, where we won Best in Show. Showed at the HD Expo, also won Best in Show out of millions of designs, 16 design categories. Yeah, I hustled.
You're a superstar. So are you ready for my 3 rapid questions that I ask everybody? Even though I know the answers to it, you could tell the audience what the answers are. How much faith do you need to be in business?
100%.
Right? Without a doubt, right? And do you think that your talents are God-given?
Also 1,000. That's not even a question.
It's like a duh, right?
Yes,
because I know the answer to this. But here's a tricky one for you. How should a person dress in a house of worship?
Modest.
Ooh, modest. I like this answer from you. This is a good one.
House of worship. I mean, when I go to shul, I'm looking all modest. I look like a very, very stark.
Very stark. Yeah, nobody, listen, I'm going to need Yiddish Hebrew translation on the bottom, but stark means like very to the point and very exact as to how she feels she should be dressed in a house of worship, especially in front of God. But Elizabeth, I adore you. I know that everybody adores you. And I'm honored that you're on the cover of my first book, and my second book. I am carrying one of your strong bags, which is like my motto. So thank you for visiting me at the House of Faith and Fashion and bringing my pages to life. And tell us, how is the best way we're going to find you?
First of all, you should follow along on Instagram at Elizabeth Sutton Collection. I am always hosting events, launching new products, collections, fine art activations at some of the nicest hotels around the world, cooking, my kids. So for overall inspiration, to shop my collection, ElizabethSuttonCollection.com, my tiles on tilebar.com. I design wallpaper, fashion accessories,
everything.
Sorts of things. Yeah, everything.
You have an Elizabeth Sutton world, and thank you for sharing your Elizabeth Sutton world with us. Thank you so much. Up next on the House of Faith and Fashion, meet entrepreneur, image architect, and celebrity stylist Sandra Madjdi. She will be visiting us and having another meaningful conversation. But I want her to like comment on my like cowboy core chic-y stuff. Anyway, we'll be right back, so stay tuned.
Oh, hi. My name is Ashley Ryzicki, Program Director for the St. Thomas University's Fashion Merchandising Program. If you're a fashionista, Let me tell you why SDU is for you.
Here in Miami, Florida, you'll have unique learning and experiential opportunities, including Miami Fashion Week, Miami Swim Week, and hands-on learning through field trips to manufacturers, retailers, and other fashion industry locations. It has come to my attention that several students are wearing their pajamas to their classes. All those in favor of dressing fabulous, please say aye.
Aye.
As part of your coursework, you'll have access to industry experts that work right in Miami.
Hey, Professor Ryzicki, what about outside of Miami?
Well, President Armstrong, every other year, you'll have the opportunity to travel to fashion capitals all around the world, like London, Paris, Milan, and more.
You'll be able to incorporate fashion terminology as part of your everyday language.
Hey, is that polyester?
This is a cotton silk blend.
So what are you waiting for, Fashionista? Apply today at stu.edu/fashion.
I think I saw her in a Ricky Martin video.
I'm Kate McGuire, the founder of Converted Closet on Instagram. And if you like original clothes and would like to get the most out of your wardrobe, follow me for inspiration on Instagram and I'll show you how. You'll never look back. You're watching the Connect Network TV. Welcome back to the House of Faith and Fashion with me, Toby Rubenstein. Right now I'm being joined by one of the most in-demand celebrity stylists around. Please help me welcome to my home, entrepreneur, wardrobe stylist, image creator, hair queen, makeup artist, and regional manager of Fashion Group International, Sandra Madjdi. Welcome, Sandra. So happy to have you in my home.
Oh, hello there, Toby. Thank you for having me. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Listen, we didn't plan this, but I just want to know if you could appreciate my new cowboy core instead of course Barbie.
I love it.
Now we placed
I absolutely love it.
I know that you're like a celebrity stylist, so you have got to see these Manolos. Could you plot? Look at these. Aren't they fab?
They're beautiful.
Thank you.
I love them.
I know. They're wonderful. Listen, fringe is in, and I don't have to tell you, Sandra, you're the most
You
sought
always
after.
look fabulous. You're always killing it with image and trend.
Thank you. But Sandra, you are the most sought after celebrity stylist in the business. Please share with my viewers your history as a stylist and how did you become who you are?
Well, I think I've always had a sense of taste in the finer things and wanted to always bring my image to another notch. Like my parents used to say, we would buy you stuff, you would cut it up and make it your own. And I was rebellious in that way and from a young age. So it just came naturally. But then I was a daughter of someone who was a hairstylist. I was a daughter of someone who was a dignitary's son who had custom made suits made for him and custom made dresses for my mother because of obviously the other life of that. So I was introduced to that at a young age and I just had an eye for it. And my dad would take me shopping when he wanted to pick out his latest Gucci mules or his Ferragamos. And it just started very young. And my mother could not keep me out of her hair salon. I was causing trouble in there all the time too. So I think it just came out of me at birth.
Well, so you're born this way. Like Lady Gaga would say, you were born this way, right? You were born as a top stylist. So that's fantastic. So if you're born this way, can you please tell us the hottest trend for spring aside from what I'm wearing?
I mean, I love the whole Western cowgirl. I love that, right? But I'm really appreciating the femininity of women right now. Mm-hmm. I'm appreciating this mob wife per se stigma that's coming into the fashion trend. But I think girls are putting their clothes on instead of taking them off, which I'm really appreciating.
Sandra, I want to talk about some of your clients, the ones that you could at least talk about. So can you share with us from your long list of celebrity clients that you can tell us about?
Oof. So we have, oh my goodness, Louis Brinson.
Don't be shy. Don't be humble.
Jazz from the Marlins, Pitbull, and Mark Anthony's team. I have Sergio George, Ataka Sergio. He just came out with a huge book, and everyone, it's written in English as well. You need to understand the fundamentals of salsa music. This man is a pioneer, and he's about to change the algorithm of what reggaeton looks like. And he has, we've worked out, I mean, Jay Balvin, his wife. I work with some really remarkable people. I don't know. I can't name all of them, but who have I worked with?
You don't have to name all of them because we're trying. You know what you just rattled off is really, really quite enough. I mean, it's like it's a lot to digest. But also, what are the brands that you work with, and the new brand that you could share that we talked about yesterday that I'm going to be involved in that I'm really excited about? So put it all together, Sandra.
I mean, my heart and soul, obviously, it's Carlos Campos and the Hill Figure team. I love them. They're one of my hearts. But at the same time, beyond that, like Tory Burch, Nicole Miller, and just recently, I work with Saks. This is like a dream come true. Alice and Olivia, and yes.
Alice and Olivia, I'm so excited. I love Stacey Bennett, and thank you. This is like so exciting. Thank you, Sandra, because you're like so good at what you do. But how do you combine the fashion and sports? Because you just randomly just said a couple of sports names, which is like amazing. But like that's another combination.
You know,
how do you do that?
I mean, look at Jazz from the Marlins. This man walked onto that court as a young, rookie with blue hair, and he made a statement. And this is something, there's a lot of boys out there and they want to make a statement. And how else better to start with either a specific hair color. I played soccer, and on the field, I remember the kids shave their heads or they would dye it blonde. It starts from that, and then you see it, now they're being followed through that tunnel and through that walkway or off that airplane on that private jet, and they're being photographed.
Yes, it's become their runway.
And so I started that at the NFL level. Yeah, it's become their runway, and I started the NFL level, but baseball is my heart and soul too. I'm a kid at heart when it comes to sports. My dad, I was the son he never had. I was his firstborn. He taught me about everything to do with sports, and NFL was his first, idea when he came to the United States of sports that was different, coming from our background of like what we were part of soccer and like other sports, right? And so then it moved into baseball. I love baseball, and baseball was something I never really understood till I moved to New York, and I became a diehard Yankee fan. And then I had just the coincidence of working with David Justice, who I didn't even know who he was at the beginning. Then I was like, oh, he was married to Halle Berry. Oh my goodness. And then he was moving from one team to another. And I met him with his then spouse, Nicole, and I hit it off. And then I just realized I had a niche for it because men are fun to style. It's a different entity, and it's beautiful and it's incredible. And athletes are even more challenging to a stylist because they're not shaped as your expectance of size. And so that became another aspect to why athletes and why fashion. So I wanted to come and say, well, let me add the zhuzh or the Sandra effect by bringing some bling. And I think like it hit me when I was on the Coca-Cola campaign. It was. I realized I had a zhuzh with athletes, with David Ortiz, with Big Papi. Because that's that's a big man.
You're a zhuzh. I'm using your vocabulary. We don't even need a translator on the bottom. You are the zhuzh. But before you go, I have got my 3 rapid questions, even though I say this to everybody because you're all my friends. So I know what your answers are going to be, but I've still got to ask them. Sandra of the zhuzh Sandra effect. How much faith do you need to be in business?
Oh, incredible amount, because this is a cutthroat industry and the devil is lurking all day. So you need to have faith, and you need to have God to seriously to protect you. So that is one thing that I live. That is my truth. Everyone will know. I will feed you that.
Do you think your talents are God-given? It's a dull.
Absolutely. And I'm here to fulfill God's will. Absolutely. 1000%.
Sandra, with the zhuzh, let's see how you put the zhuzh, the Sandra effect zhuzh on this. Please describe how a person should dress to a house of worship.
Please have respect. You know, I always say this is your first temple before you walk into something else that is a temple.
Mm-hmm.
So pretend, but no, it's truth. Look at yourself in a godly way. And would you stand that way in front of God?
Oh, I love your
be
answer.
In that way. So
that's your godly zhuzh. Your godly zhuzh, Sandra zhuzh.
That's my zhuzh and my chutzpah is what I say.
Yeah, your chutzpah, absolutely. So, but before you go, you have to tell all of my listeners here and viewers and all the people watching that are fascinated and still trying to digest the celebrities that you're dressing. How do we find you?
I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm younger than life in my heart, and I will connect with anyone. So whoever messages me, I totally will respond to you. You guys can even email me. I have a lot of emailers that they just randomly email and want to connect, and I say absolutely.
You're doing styling, personal styling, dressing. You're doing hair. You're doing personal an overall shopping. Look. You're doing everything. You are just.
Oh yeah, and I have a whole team. Yep, because I work a lot with Sony Latin music. Tommy Mottola gave me my first opportunity in 2002 as a non-Latina, and I'm very connected to the Latin community, and I love and adore them. They support me, and they always fill me with so much love.
That's great.
And I will continue to work with them to develop these young up-and-coming artists or already existing artists that come in and they just want to revamp because they're on a new trend. And there's a new trend coming, you guys, in the Latin music arena. And it is fast and furious. And I'm part of that, as a matter of fact. And I'm so grateful for it. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. And I also know that you're the director of Fashion Group International, which is all, we could do a whole other show about that. But you have so many responsibilities. But overall, you style people from head to toe, from the inside out, including the environment that they're standing in. You are just altogether put together, Sandra effect zhuzh. So thank you so much for coming and visiting with me.
Thank you so much for having me.
I adore you. At Alice and Olivia, thank you so much for everything.
Yes, we're going to do a book signing. For those that are in Miami, please keep a lookout. You guys, I will be all over social. I'm kind of taking a hiatus right now because I'm working on a lot of stuff, and I swear I'm going to blast it into like the airs. But this is going to be part of that huge relaunch. So this Alice and Olivia book signing with your book is really special to me and my brand and where we're moving and shifting to. So for those who are in Miami, please take a peek into my social or Toby's, and we're going to announce it probably in the next week or so.
Great. And I'm so really thank you. And I'm glad that you appreciate
I love you.
Everything.
Thank you. I love the whole look. Fabulous.
My fringy Manolos. Thank you so much. And we'll be back.
My DVF, yes. You know, I love her.
I love Diane Van Furstenberg. Hint, Diane Van Furstenberg. I'd like to have you on